You've been there, right? You see someone you care about, a friend, a coworker, and they're struggling. So you jump in with what feels like this perfect piece of advice, and next thing you know, you're in an argument. You were just trying to help, but somehow you end up the bad guy. It's this incredibly common, super frustrating experience. And today, we're going to unpack a powerful new way to think that might just break that cycle for good.
So what's the deal here? Why does this keep happening? Well, the answer might lie in what we're calling the cognitive economy of judgment. It's a whole new way of looking at our thoughts, not as just random things that pop into our heads, but as a seriously valuable resource. And learning how to invest that resource wisely, well, that's the key to changing pretty much everything about how we communicate.
All right, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll look at the real cost of judging others. Then we'll dive into this idea of a new cognitive economy. From there, we'll get into two super simple rules of engagement, explore the science that proves this stuff works, and check out a real-world case study. Finally, we'll bring it all back to you and your most valuable asset. Okay, let's get right into the tough stuff. That impulse we all have to evaluate, to fix, to judge someone else's situation. Even when our hearts are in the right place, that's often the very thing that poisons the well. And this, right here, this just captures that painful gap perfectly, doesn't it? Our intention is to connect, to help, to align with someone. But what actually happens? Resentment, conflict. The other person doesn't feel helped. They feel criticized. They feel attacked. And that's where you get that wall going up, that distance that can be so hard to overcome. So, how do we fix this mess? It really starts with a simple but profound shift in perspective. We have to stop treating our judgments like they're just disposable opinions and start seeing them for what they really are, a valuable and very finite resource.
And let's be really clear about what judgment means here. We're not just talking about being mean or critical. Judgment is this precious, high-level cognitive tool. It's your brain's quality control department. It's what you use for discernment, for risk assessment, for making sure you're on the right track. It is absolutely vital for you. And here is the absolute core of this idea, coming from the philosophy of Tran. The value of your judgment totally depends on where you point it. When you turn that powerful tool inward, on yourself for self-reflection, it's a high-value commodity. It's how you grow. It's how you fine-tune your own life. But the second you point it at another person, it becomes trash. It becomes cognitive pollution that creates resentment and just pushes people away. This little model makes it so clear. You've got 3 places to apply your judgment. Internally, on yourself, it's a high-value commodity that leads to growth. Externally, on other people, it's trash with a negative value that leads to hatred. And there's a third lane. For systems, for AI, judgment becomes a functional utility. It's great for efficiency. The whole key is to not cross the streams. Okay, so that's the big idea. But how do we actually do this in our day-to-day lives? Well, this whole philosophy really comes down to 2 simple but incredibly powerful rules.
Here they are. It's this simple. Rule number 1, judgment is a tool for you only. You reserve it for your own personal growth, that fine-tuning we were talking about. Rule number 2, when you engage with another person, you switch tools. You put the judgment tool down and you pick up the observation tool. You just state the fact. But wait, there is a massive catch, a crucial condition, and honestly, this is the real game changer. You only share your observation when someone asks you for it. Think about it, right? You wouldn't just walk up to someone and force a gift into their hands. You wait until they're ready to receive it. This is all about respecting their autonomy, and it ensures that when you do speak, your words are seen as valuable, not as an attack. Now, I know this might sound a little soft skillsy, but this isn't just some nice idea. It's actually grounded in some pretty serious psychological science. Let's look at why this whole judgment versus observation thing is so powerful. Man, this quote from Marshall Rosenberg, the guy who created nonviolent communication, he just hits the nail on the head. The moment we mix what we see, the observation, with what we think about it, the evaluation, the other person's brain just hears criticism. And a switch flips. They stop listening and they start defending. And this is just a perfect example. You are always late. That's a judgment. It's a character attack, and it's basically guaranteed to start a fight. But I noticed the meeting started 10 minutes ago. That's an observation. The source material calls this the camera check. Could a security camera have recorded it as a fact? If yes, it's an observation. The camera would see you arrived at 9:10. One starts a war, the other one opens the door for a conversation. So why do we react so badly to advice we didn't ask for? There's a name for it: psychological reactance theory. Our brains are literally hardwired to protect our sense of freedom. So when someone gives us unsolicited advice, we see it as a threat to our autonomy. That triggers this deep, primal need to push back, to prove we're in control, often by doing the exact opposite of what they said. It's the classic boomerang effect.
So we've got the theory, we've got the science, but can you actually build something around this, like a whole institution? Well, it turns out you can. Let's take a quick look at Tran University. It's a fascinating case study of this whole philosophy in action. Tran University is built on what they call a triadic learning architecture. It's not just some buzzword, it's a completely different way of thinking about education. The entire place is structured to physically and intellectually separate these different types of judgment we've been talking about.
And their motto just says it all: the AI can teach, the humans must connect. Think about how revolutionary that is. They've basically outsourced all the logical, evaluative judgment, grading papers, processing data, to artificial intelligence. This frees up the human beings to do the one thing we can do that machines can't: build real, empathetic connections. So the whole university has three main parts. You've got the College of AI. That's the logical brain that handles all the automated data crunching stuff. Then there's the College of Human Services, and this is wild. It includes things like a beauty academy, which acts as a real-world lab for practicing non-judgmental observation. And finally, the College of Humanization, which is the heart of it all, where they teach the core philosophy. So what can we all take away from this? The example of Tran University is just this powerful real-world reminder that our cognitive energy, our ability to judge, is our most valuable asset. The only question is, are we investing it wisely? And this brings us to the great paradox of influence. If you really want to have an impact on people, you have to completely give up trying to control them with your judgments. Real, lasting influence doesn't come from criticism. It comes from creating a space where people feel safe, heard, and respected. That's when they'll actually listen to you. And hey, if you're a data person, get a load of this number. One study found that the implementation rate for unsolicited advice is only 49%. That means you'd have better luck flipping a coin. You're not just wasting your time and energy, you are actively getting a result that is worse than random chance, and you're damaging the relationship in the process. So, we'll leave you with this final thought. Your judgment is your most precious cognitive commodity. Every time you offer it to someone who didn't ask for it, you're not just giving it away for free, you're turning it into trash. So are you going to invest that asset in yourself where it can generate incredible returns? Or are you going to keep throwing it away? The choice, as always, is yours.